Wild card weekend, my favorite picks are on the way. Today, we're going to talk about two Saturday NFL games. We got the Seahawks and 49ers, Chargers versus Jaguars. I got my favorite pick for each of those two games. And we'll obviously have a separate video for Sunday's NFL slate and the Monday Night Football game between the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. Now, let's talk about Week 18 first. To end the regular season, we had a massive week. 3-2. We'll take it. Obviously not a crazy winning week, but we'll take the winnings and move on into the postseason. Hopefully we can dominate the postseason. If you are new, welcome. My name is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Do me a favor, go down below, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to close in on 70,000 subscribers. We're only like 500 away from that. And then maybe we'll hit 100K one of these days. But either way, if you are new, if you ever need any sportsbook sign-up bonuses, all that stuff is down below in the description. Let's hop into my favorite pick. We're going to start with the first game, Seahawks versus 49ers. And I'm going to start with the player prop in this one. I'm going to Kenneth Walker III. I like his over 16.5 rushing attempts, which is currently minus 105 on DraftKings. Now, if you don't know who Kenneth Walker III is, he's a rookie running back for the Seattle Seahawks. And yes, you can take this at 17.5. And I don't mind his rushing yards prop either, although not the greatest matchup for Walker, but you understand why I like his rushing attempts a little bit more than rushing yards. Now, at surface level, tough matchup because the 49ers currently allow the fewest rushing yards per game in the regular season and the fewest rushing yards per attempt. So you look at the rushing yards prop for him, it's obviously gone down, and they're kind of playing into that matchup. Wouldn't be surprised to see some people launching out over or unders on Mr. Walker. But I look at these matchups earlier on in this season, and I think you got to look into them a little bit more. Now, in week 2, these two teams played. Obviously, they're much different now in the playoffs than they were in week 2. But in week 2 was the 49ers 27-7 win, and no running back on the Seahawks had more than 6 attempts. In fact, they combined for 14 total, and they threw it 30 times. Now, flash forward to week 15, just a couple weeks back. 49ers again won that game 21-13. Walker played in that game at 12 carries. They had 14 as a team, but they threw the ball 44 times. So yes, if you took Walker's, well, he didn't technically, he wasn't the lead back in week 2, but the Seahawks trailed substantially in both these two games, and it was clear they abandoned the run. And that's going to happen when you're down a lot of points. In that second game, despite being down 21-3 pretty early in that game, they still gave the ball to Walker throughout the second half, gave it to him a couple times, and he had success running the football. Now, I expect regardless of score here, they're going to want to run the football with Walker. I don't care if he goes out there and gets 2 yards a carry. The Seahawks gotta at least trust the run. They gotta run the football. If the Seahawks completely abandon the run, they're getting smoked in this game. They're losing by 30. If they can at least run the football with Walker and stay honest and try to keep that as close to 50-50 run versus pass, they might have a chance of winning this game. Now, I'm not saying the 49ers lose to the Seahawks. They're like 9-point favorites in this one. But I think the Seahawks can keep it close, and the way they keep it close is by running the football, keeping this 49ers defense honest. Now, the 49ers have a great defense. No way around that. But Walker's been pretty good over the last 3 games, 26, 23, and 29 rushing attempts. That included a game they lost by 14 to the Kansas City Chiefs. They still kept running the ball in that one. And if they abandon, I just don't think they abandoned the run in this one. They've abandoned the run in the first 2 games, and obviously you see how that turned out. They lost by 8 and 20 points in that game. I think they run the football, and we could see Walker, if the Seattle Seahawks defense can make a couple stops, Walker could approach 12 to 15 carries in the first half. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And you look at the last 3 weeks, teams have still run the football on the 49ers and had a little success. Not a lot, but the 49ers still face 33, 32, and 20 carries from their opponent the last 3 weeks. And we know Pete Carroll, a guy that loves to run the football, could make a joke about running it on the 1-yard line, but I will not do that right now because we need Pete Carroll to trust us. Run the football. If Geno's throwing the ball 35 or more times, they will lose on Saturday. And I think they run the football, try to establish the run. I don't care if it sets them into 2nd and longs or maybe 2nd and 8s. It at least sets up the play action pass on first down if you keep running it on first. And maybe Walker sees a little bit of success. I'm not saying it's not crazy. Walker's a very talented guy. He can go out there and try to get 5-6 yards per carry, kind of go through some tacklers. And look, maybe it gets to some 3rd and 1s and they run it and then they run it again. There's an easy way to get to 17 rushing attempts. It sounds like a high number, but I think Walker gets a lot of workload. He's going to handle the majority of the carries for the Seahawks. I really like his over 16.5 rushing attempts. Like I said, 17.5 is fine too. Now, I don't really have a spread lean for that one. I'll talk about it maybe at the end of the video, but let's move on to my favorite spread pick, and it's coming in the second game, Chargers versus Jaguars. I'm going with the road team, the Chargers. I like the minus 2.5, which is currently minus 106 on FanDuel. Now, yes, you can take the money line, which is roughly minus 135 or so as I record this video, but I'd rather just take the spread. And if the Chargers want to come out and win by 2 or 1 points, then so be it. But look, the Jags are coming off a big-time win. I mean, let's talk about both the teams. Jags coming off a big win against the Titans to clinch the division and clinch a home playoff game. And TIAA Bank Stadium, her field, is going to be rocking on Saturday night. And it's going to be a fun game. This is two elite teams, two up and coming new teams led by their young quarterbacks, Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Now, why do I side with the Chargers in this one? Well, you look at the two teams played earlier this season. The Chargers lost 38-10. They got smoked. The Jaguars have won 5 straight games. Yet why are the Chargers sitting as favorites on the road? They're still down Mike Williams. They're coming off they just lost Mike Williams this week. He got injured in that Broncos game, and they lost the Broncos in week 18. You see the Chargers still favored here, and they've lost their fair share of close games. This is a team that, if luck broke their way or they got a little luckier in those close games, they could be sitting like the Vikings at whatever the Vikings record is, 13-4 or something like that. But either way, they've lost a lot of their losses. Only 2 of them have come by more than 7 points. So I think they keep this game close, and the Chargers have played surprisingly well on the road, 7-2 against the spread on the road in their last 9 games. Sometimes their home games are almost away games for them because they don't have a ton of fans out in LA. But the Chargers secondary and defense has really stepped it up over the back half of the season. And the Jaguars, their defense has been playing pretty well recently, but look at the competition. They got to play the Jets and Zach Wilson on Thursday night, the Texans and their quarterback carousel, and they got the Titans last week with Derrick Henry running it 30 times and Josh Dobbs just trying his best, only being with the team for 17 days. So the last 3 weeks, very bad offenses that the Jaguars defense has had to face. I think their defense has looked a little bit better than it really is. I think Herbert comes out here, exposes them a little bit. I like Justin Herbert a little bit more than Trevor Lawrence. I've seen Justin Herbert play in those big time games and make those big time throws. Credit to Trevor Lawrence. He's been playing super well this season. I'm not taking anything away from him. I just like the Chargers on the road. I think they're favored for a reason despite being on the road. The Jags have been playing pretty well. Sorry, Jags fans. I'm rooting for the Chargers. I'm betting on them -2.5. That's my spread pick for the video. Now, let's talk about a couple leans. And we'll talk about a couple more player props. I'll throw a couple of them up on the screen. As always, drop your favorite picks down below in the comments. This is a community. We want to know what you guys are betting on, and maybe you guys are tossing out some winners, and the people that are weird in the comments are winning with you. Let's talk about a couple of these ones. Deebo Samuel, Tyler Lockett, George Kittle in that first game. Don't mind any of their over and receiving yards. If I had to pick a person I like the most, probably be Kittle. I think we took his prop last time they took the Seahawks, and he had a pretty big game, like 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he has a pretty good game again. I wanted his 3.5 receptions, but it got way too juiced by the time of me recording this. Deebo Samuel, I looked at his under in rushing yards. I don't have it on the screen, but I don't mind Deebo either. Obviously coming back from injury, so a little bit of concern there. And Tyler Lockett had pretty good games against this Seahawks or 49ers defense. Hit the over in both the 2 games this season. If they do happen to abandon the run, you imagine Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are having pretty good days. Now my last lean on this one, Keenan Allen over in receptions. Now, a lot of people are going to be on Austin Eckler, rightfully so. But Keenan Allen's that safety blanket for the Chargers. Going to avoid Tyson Campbell, arguably the best cover corner for the Jaguars, who doesn't normally travel to the slot, where we see Keenan run about 60% of his routes. So I don't mind that as a player prop in that one. There's probably going to be a lot more points in that second game, maybe than the first game. At least the over-unders indicate that. But you never really know in the NFL. Anything can happen on any given Saturday in this slate. So those are my favorite picks. As always, drop your favorite picks down below in the comments. I'll be back on Sunday for some more NFL picks. Hopefully we can go 2-0 with Kenneth Walker III's over in rush attempts and the Chargers -2.5. Good luck to all your teams in the playoffs. Unless you're rooting against mine, which mine ain't there. The Jets ain't get stiff in the playoffs anytime soon. Appreciate you guys. My name's Austin. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.